Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. How you doing today? Did you miss me? You probably did. It's okay because no one's as good as I am at doing what I do. I'm just kidding. But today I am doing Florence and the Machine King. I didn't know they dropped a new song, but I was out here scrolling around looking for content, and I happened to stumble upon this. And I'm not like the hugest Florence and the Machine fan. I'm probably one of the three people out there who does not like Dog Days. I do not like that song at all. But I really love Ship to Wreck. Maybe I'll do a video on Ship to Wreck because that one's just phenomenal. But I really do love that song. But I still think Florence and the Machine is a pretty good band. Now, I can show appreciation for a group even though I'm not like a huge fan of their music, you know what I mean? I can still recognize when and how someone's good. And I give credit where credit's due. That being said, let me just get into this because this is what you came here for. Enough of my rambling, right? Let's do this. I already kind of like where this is going. Like this, the big empty room, him throwing whatever he was throwing angrily against the wall. Looks like there's like a Virgin Mary thing over here on the wall. Big empty room. Like I'm not sure what that's supposed to symbolize yet because Florence and the Machine videos, the ones that I've seen, always have like a lot of visual symbolism along with symbolism in the words and metaphors in the music and the lyrics. Oh yeah, and also that was I figured that was her in the corner. It's like she was very stationary. She's good at being a statue. I'll give it to her.
We argue in the kitchen about whether to have children, about the world ending and the scale of my ambition and how much is art really worth. The very thing you're best at is the thing that hurts the most. But you need your rotten.
Okay, where we're starting off is very interesting because this kind of reminds me a little bit of like Ship to Wreck as far as like content goes so far, and in the sense that she's this so far is about her and the person she's with, whether she's married or they're just in a relationship. Like it starts off talking about their strife, their struggles, kind of what they're dealing with on an emotional and also kind of practical level, but also it's very much like from her point of view, like, so it's a very subjective point of view, but also how he's doing like what did she say here?
Art really
Really,
worth. The very thing you're best at.
she says how much is art really worth because which is a reference to her ambition, which is her art, I'm guessing, and I put all my effort and work into it, but what is it really worth in the end? Because the price of art can be a very subjective thing. Art can be relatively considered worthless, or it can be considered a lot based off who's viewing it. You have a painting, one person might look at it and go $4, another person might look at it and go, "I'll give you 10,000 for that right now." Someone might give you nothing for it, and I think that speaks to that idea on a metaphorical level. Yeah, and also, I love the line. She says, the very thing you're best at
Is the thing that hurts the most.
is the thing that hurts the most," which I think a lot of us can relate to. That you're entangled with somebody, and like I don't know if it's like a conscious effort on his part because it seems like it's almost like unintentional, but like he hurts her with what he does and what he says, and that's like oddly enough, that's one thing that he can seem to do right in her eyes is hurting her. Again, whether it's intentional or not, it's never really said, but I think that's left up to interpretation, really.
But you need your rotten heart, your dazzling pain like diamond rings. You need to go to war to find material to sing.
Oh, okay, I see now. She's like, because like a lot of artists, you experience a lot of torment, anger, pain, agony, that kind of thing, and Often artists sometimes go to dark places and very tormented places in order to get inspiration for their material, for their art. And this is very much a shout out to that feeling, to like everything you do hurts me, but that's part of what makes you good at what you do, which is a scary thing.
I am no mother, I'm no bride, I'm king. I need my golden crown of sorrow, my bloody sword to swing, my empty halls to echo with grand self-mythology. I am no mother, I am no bride, I am king. I am no mother, I am no bride, I am
What's interesting is the chorus right here, I am no mother, I am no bride, because I think at first I thought like she's singing to him, but then I think it's like partially like her singing about, almost like singing about herself, because the whole line, I am not mother, I am no bride, I am king, kind of speaks to that sort of self-indulgent, narcissistic nature that art can take on, because people who consider themselves artists, like people who are very wholeheartedly devoted to their art, a lot of other things come secondary. And I think in this she's very much, in a way, talking about herself. And I think, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like the first verse is her singing from the perspective of the other person talking to her, and about how she hurts them, and so she's speaking through their eyes. But then the chorus is her very much speaking kind of as herself, like retorting in a sense, like I am not your mother, I'm not bride, I'm not very good at being a wife, I'm not very good at being a mother, I am king, I'm great at what I do, I need to manifest this grand mythology about myself, this inflated sense of self and ego, but I'm terrible at all these other things, and I'm terrible to you for it.
That a woman is a changeling, always shifting shape. Just when you think you have it figured out, something new begins to take. What strange claws are these, scratching at my skin? I never knew my killer would be coming from within. I am no mother, I am no bride, I am king.
Okay, and what's interesting here with this verse, I think personally, like what I think is really interesting about it, is I think it very much sings to her, her own inner nature as a woman, from her perspective anyway. Maybe not all women in general, but her nature as a woman, which is that, you know, she often has a self-destructive nature. Like, wait, let's go back a second.
That a woman is a changeling, always shifting shape. Just when you think you have it figured out, something new begins to take. What strange claws are these, scratching at my skin? I never knew my killer would be coming from within.
See, what she says here, like a woman is a changing, ever-shifting thing. I think again, it speaks to her nature as a woman. Maybe not all women, but her like her personal like idea of woman, of her own femininity, of herself. That, you know, she's never stable. She never can stay in one place. She's always this thing, that thing. She's changing into different things, and ultimately, like her own nature, her own behavior, her own attitude is very self-destructive. But to a certain sense, if you speak back to the first verse, her ego won't allow her to see that until it's too late. And now she finally sees it, she's probably destroyed everything else around her. And it brings it back around to the chorus because and one can say that like this is like the symbolizing of her basically killing her relationship, killing her love, ultimately destroying somebody who truly cared for her, who tried to weather the storm with her, and ultimately she destroyed it like she destroyed many other things. And it's just kind of like, you know, her carrying him up to like, I'd say like, I don't know, like a stairway to heaven, a stairway to the afterlife, something like that, because she is within the symbolism of this video, the holy figure. You know what I mean?
I need my golden crown of sorrow, my bloody sword to swing. I need my empty halls to echo with grand sales mythology, 'cause I am no mother, I am no bride, I am king. I am no mother, I am no bride, I am king. I am no mother, I'm no bride, I'm king. I'm no mother, I'm no bride, I'm king.
And what's very interesting is like I'm trying to figure out like the girls dancing around her, the women around her dancing, because they're all moving rhythm with her, but obviously they're not all dressed the same. And one could say that there you represent like the angelic nature, but I'm not sure because if she's the central sort of the central holy figure in all this, then like they represent those that kind of orbit around her, and they represent some aspect of the feminine nature that she speaks of. Like though maybe those who follow in suit to the same thing, like all those who parade around are kind of like if you know anything about God or anything like that, which isn't about God, but like if you know like about how God exists in heaven, like God's there, and then there's a choir of angels that float around him saying holy, holy, holy. That's what they do, and one could say they're kind of like that. They are kind of like the manifestation of this grand mythology and ego that she needs to manifest around herself to elevate herself and her ego over her her conflicting nature. Before I try to talk about this, what's very interesting about this song is that like it kind of like narratively and tonally shifts back and forth between like self-realization, self-actualization, and then delusion, and the delusion of one's ego and one's own narcissism. Like I need these things in order to create my art, but these things that create my art also destroy everything in my life personally and make me horrible at being all these more personable, more human things. But because I'm destructive in that aspect, it makes me a brilliant and great artist. And I want to create, I'm dedicated to my art, but I also realize that it causes me to sacrifice everything else that I love because of it. But I ultimately kind of love my art more. And while I realize that, at the same time, my own ego, my inflated sense of self, won't entirely let me recognize or acknowledge that. And I think these women kind of represent that. Like they kind of represent, because at first they move in step with her, but then after she starts singing again, she starts wailing, you see they're swirling and flailing somewhat violently, which one could say that like it represents them being like in tune with her, but then also her swirling thoughts and emotions almost overwhelming and when she's losing control. Because at first it seemed like she was very much in control of them and they move in sync with her. But now after they follow her out and they march after her, they're kind of just on their own little tangents, doing their own thing, There's no control left. Everything's just kind of spinning out of control.
I was never as good as I always thought I was, but I knew how to dress it up. I was never satisfied, never let me go, just drag me by my hair and go back home with a show.
And what's very interesting is that very last line right there, I think, is kind of represents the idea of actually coming into self-actualization. Like everything up to this point, she has these delusions of grandeur, of I'm this grand artist, I'm this great thing, I have these fantasies, this idea of myself, this grand mythology, this great story. And ultimately, when it all settles, she realizes I'm like you said, I'm not as good as I thought I was. I was very good at putting on a show, at playing it up like I was something very important, very grand, very great. But in reality, it's all facade. It's all kind of a lie, because I'm not saying I'm awful, but I'm not really as amazing and as grand as I put myself off to be. Yeah. It was very interesting. There was like at the end, when she, I guess like you could say like it's when she thought she killed it all, when she thought that she had sacrificed her love, he ultimately does come back to her, and she hasn't entirely lost everything. She has a chance to make it better and make it right. But anyway, that was Florence and the Machine King. I gotta say, a very interesting song, very powerful, very emotional song, very personal too, very much I think speaks to the heart of anyone who is tormented and torn by their need to create, but also how that causes imbalance in other aspects of their life, and how it can send you into a frenzy sometimes because you're trying to function as a person but also be an artist, but the things that make you a great artist destroy you as a human being. Anyway, let me know what you think, because those are just my opinions. Let me know what you think. Also, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I was way off? Let's have a conversation down in the comments section. If it's your first time here, give us a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Also, subscribe for more videos like this and check out my other videos also. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me out, helps you out, makes your life better in the end. And yeah, and until next time, guys, I will talk to you later, alright? Peace. This is the face I'm going to use for the thumbnail.